All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So an interesting day in the sector. I couldn't figure it out for a while, but it was Linda that dropped this. I'm showing it right here, okay? So Christie, very, very well connected man to the president right now, gives a very, very interesting suggestion. All right, this is nothing more than a suggestion. All right, but hey, rumors are great. You buy the rumor, right? And you generally sell the news, right? So I'm really, really liking a nice suggestion of deschedulizing, making banking access easier, this, that, and those, right? So big words from a very important person and a very, very important connection to the administration. All right, obviously some crypto comments as well right there, right, for those interested in both. What catches me on the charts is not every stock reacted the same. All right, we see TLRY right here. Look, I know this doesn't look like a big percent. I know 5% isn't a big number to a lot. That's a monster important line, and you can see it basically wicks my red death line, right? We see the same reaction with MSOS, and again, that actually was the one that was linked in the Bazinga comment right there, right? So these are the candles I'm expecting to see on the rest of the tickers I normally cover. It's just not the case. CGC has a good wick, good moments, and then ends up dropping, right? ACB has a good wick, nice moments, but then ends up dropping to down here, right? SNDL, it's able to hold, but a little bit, I think, is the 200 moving average right there, right? HITI with an interesting hold as well, but again, there was a golden line that is a strong, I don't generally put emphasis on my lines, but yeah, when I make them golden or I make them red, I think they're good ones, right? So it nonetheless wasn't the same. And when I look at the sector, when I look at any sector, right, EV, AI, banks, blue chips, pennies in between, right, they all should be doing the same thing. The sector should go up and down, maybe like a little bit of an outlier here and there, but this is a little more than that in my opinion, all right? So that's my only hesitation, but very, very important comments from an important person is the underlying theme of this video, all right? So yeah, I think that's a good intro right there. And then before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So let's get into it. And I don't know if I'm going to do the same grouping as I normally do because, again, I think there's really 3 things going on. I'm going to talk about the general Christie thing one more time. I kind of said most of it in the intro, really. I'm gonna show you again why maybe TLRY and MSOS had a better reaction to today, and then from there I'll give you my general what needs to happen for each of the tickers. All right, so again, I'm going to start right here really quickly, and look, I think there's a couple different things to focus on here. I think the first thing I'm going to focus on is who actually published this. All right, generally speaking, I think I see most pro sector stuff come from MJ Moment, right? And to me, when anyone besides MJ Moment starts to say positive things about weed, about the sector, that's when I probably listen a little bit more. Okay, listen, MJ Moment is here to be a pro-sector publication, right? There are plenty of YouTubers out there. I lost money on them. I know this sector very, very well, right? There are a lot of people that are just fanboy and rah, and they are very, this is a crazy sector. It kind of is, when more neutral publications start to say things, that's when, again, I think it peaks. Again, do I think Bazinga is a top tier, financially backed this, that? No, I don't. I just think they're a little bit more unbiased, and I think there's a lot of value seeing it from them, all right? From there, again, look, all this is a suggestion, but hey, Chris Christie is an important person. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm not the biggest political dude, if I'm not mistaken, I think Chris Christie was almost his VP on the previous election. He ended up going with the other guy, right? And that was more of a political move for the state that the guy was in, if I'm not mistaken. But like, I think Trump and Christie are homies, right? Like, this guy seems like a fun guy to hang out with, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I think his words carry value. All right. Now, I've been saying it for a while. I still think Trump is very much, we just had a good conversation on the Discord. Give me a second, because we talked about Kamala too. We've been saying the word Trump more. This is where it was. So we were just going back and forth about, what's going to happen with the sector with Trump, right? And we were seeing the last couple of days go down. Look, Trump is pro-weed. I've said it for so many videos, and I sincerely believed Kamala was pro-weed, and I would have said the exact same thing if she won, you know what I mean? But to me, I don't know where it was on the priority list, right? Maybe this Chris Christie thing is echoing my Trump is pro-weed, but saying, no, bro, you little chart reader dude, you were wrong here. It's actually maybe a little more important in the priority list. Is it? I don't know. There was no timing in where was it? Listen, Linda. Boom. She is, by the way. That was an accurate comment. So he's not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow, next month, first month of when he's in the office, this, that, right? There's no timing with this. But hey, the momentum could be there. All right. That's going to lead me to the next thing of why I think Tilray and MSOS did better. Look, the momentum being there isn't quite catapulting the rest. Right? Like CGC couldn't quite do it, but hey, it's not really at all-time lows just yet. There's a couple other places that can do some important things before we get, crazy scared, right? ACB, I would say same comments. It's just losing some moving averages. Again, I'm surprised it didn't get over 163, and I think Florida did a lot of bad things for the sector, right? But again, you get the point that I'm talking about, right? Tilray was below the all-time low line. Tilray loses the line and confirms the loss back to back. Normally, I would say this is supposed to lose 20%. And you can see with the wick down here, where did you open? Let's look at the first 15 minutes of the day, right? Today is, oh, get out of here. You open up here today? Interesting. Give me the 1 minute. No, the 1 minute's too ugly to look at. Get out of here. It looks like there was a little bit of a wick. That sharp wick was like right in the first 15-minute candle, but it actually stays pretty horizontal. That's actually not too shabby right there. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Nonetheless, all right, when you lose the death line and confirm, my expectation is to go low. Chris Christie's momentum brought us back over 50% of yesterday's candle, and really is now making me believe that there's a recovery to the 8 moving average all the way up to 560, let's call it, right? 5 dyslexic right there. 158. I wasn't even close. I threw a 6 in there, I think. Wow. Maybe you can call it 155 again. I don't know the math, but it kind of looks like it's going to come down there, right? More than anything, this saves it immediately from my all-time low black hole vortex thoughts, all right? MSOS, exact same thing. It loses the line on Friday. I should make this red. I don't know why I didn't. Give me a second. I'm going to zoom out too, and I'll show you why. But it loses it. It horribly confirms on Monday. All of a sudden, instead of losing 20%, we gain 16, right? And as I zoom out, let's just look at it on the weekly. As I zoom out, you can see there's nothing below that death line, right? So I'm very much giving these two to Christie, and I think the reason that the reason that MSOS and Tilray did the best is actually because what do you call it? They didn't lose the technical, or yeah, they didn't continue the technical all-time low loss. All right. From there, where are we right now? 10-minute mark exactly. This is probably where I'll say this is a technical moment. All right. So let's get into the technicals and just the lines in themselves. Right. So again, I've said it a couple times. Regaining 50% of this candle no longer makes me think black hole vortex. At the minimum, I actually start to think, because again, look, red, 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 green, 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 right? I start to think to myself, we might make a recovery to the 8 moving average. Let's call it 155, because I'm assuming the 8 moving average is still going to come down tomorrow, right? Again, I'm not here pretending to know the math. I let the computers do that stuff for me, right? If we can break 155, this 162 line has been a very, very important line for Tilray. Normally, honestly, when I see all these moving averages so close to a line, I delete this thing, right? I would say, you know what, at this point, these lines matter way more. I have to keep this line, all right? And I think I'm going to probably watch, because you can actually see it. I think it already happened. The 20 moving average is more than likely going to go below this 162 line. I will probably keep 162 as the target if that 8 moving average breaks. All right. Normally I would use the 20, but I think it's going to be that 162 if I had to guess. All right. Otherwise, listen, we must hold 143. 143 is the next death line right here. We can't lose 50% of today. All right. That's essentially my Tilray technical thoughts right there. I'm going to go to MSOS because it is the exact same thing, right? So again, by recovering 50% candle, I no longer think black hole vortex. I actually have to come think to myself, we're going to come up to the 8 moving average around $5.60 right here, okay? I like this MSOS channel a lot, actually, all right? I don't think these are two critical lines. Truth be told, I know Tilray a lot more than I know MSOS. I just kind of do it for these videos, right? I think that we can probably ignore these. And again, you know that's kind of a dumb thing to say. You never really want to ignore things. But I think if we can break the 8 from there, we might have a good shot at running the 20. Don't underestimate the difficulty of breaking that 8 moving average, right? So for now, it's going to be 560 immediate target up. And then, like I said, maybe even 660 if that breaks. Must stay above 440. If MSOS loses 440, bad things will happen here, all right? So those, like I said, were arguably the best of the reactions. You can say high tide was a really good reaction. So let me come to high tide real quick. So high tide, I don't even know if Christie's things matter too much to high tide, right? This is a little more Canadian focused. That said, hey, look, so far what I'm liking is this technical support of the golden line. All right, so what does that mean? Look, I've been talking about this line so much if you've been following my high tide videos. Since the summer of 2022, we've been under the line, right? Impossibility, 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 impossibility. All of a sudden, we have a couple months of fighting it and failing, 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 right? So that is a horrible, tough, horrible golden line. All of a sudden, we've been able to get over it, which is a good thing. And we've bounced once and we've bounced twice, okay? Now, I need the bounce to be a little bit better. This is 5 dojis on the bounce. And all 5 of these last trading days have been under both the 8 and the 20. You know I don't like being under the 8 and the 20. I'm glad we're over the 50. I'm glad we're over the 100 and the 200, right? I'm glad we're over the golden line. But man, I don't like being under the 8 and the 20, okay? This line is doing its very best to hold. And again, you can see the wild uncertainties over the last 5 days, right? There's no candle I respect more than the doji. And a doji on an important place, like one of my golden lines, or like on a moving average, or near 2, blah, 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 right? All of those are essentially happening right here. This is an important moment for high tide. High tide is either going to maintain this and go from crazy resist. Let me show SoFi, okay? If I can show SoFi really quickly. let's take a look at this 200 moving average line. Let's just do it from right here. Okay. It's impossibility for a couple months. It's try it and fail, 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 try it. Did that sound familiar? Was that not the exact same journey we just did? All of a sudden, though, with SoFi, right? Try to fail it, try to fail it, try to fail it, try to fail it. It bounces, and goes. It turns what was a really bad resistance into a critical support that allows it to bounce and fly. All right? That is the exact same thing HITI's trying to do with my golden line. All right? It went from horrible resistance to we're over it. Green has arguably been red, and it could have been uglier, right? That actually goes all the way to down here. Right? We should be at 235 most of the time, historically on high tide, right? We're not. It's holding. We're not. There's some dojis that are like, oh man, I don't know, let's just stay. Oh man, I don't know, let's just stay, right? Should we go? I don't know. Should we go? I don't know. Like there's a lot going on right here. The money line is, that's too low. Is it you? Yeah, it's you. All right, we're going to call our money line 290. Break 290 and we continue on up. I think for now, you can argue 254 because look, I'm seeing the 50 moving average keep going up actually. So that'll probably get to there. I think realistically, the 50 is an important line. It is, and I'm not trying to undermine it. I think I would use that. I think I would say 242 is probably going to be the death line. Maybe you can argue 254. All right. Overall, this is some exciting stuff for a stock loser like me. I'm telling you, this is the moment for high tide to either use this resistance as a support or man, just go back to normal and we'll try it again, this golden line. And hey, at least this was a better attempt than this one, and that's still somewhat-ish positive, you know what I mean? So I spent a little longer time than I wanted there, but yeah, that one was a little on the interesting side right there. When I look at CGC, look, this thing needed more. All right, this thing needed more. Volume's getting really tough here, right? MACD is not looking good. RSI is not looking good. This one had the chance. This one on the 15-minute candle, let's again look at it, right? It was horizontal. It went. There's actually very little reason that this thing couldn't break this thing, right? MACD was positive. RSI wasn't even that high. It was only on 66. I'm looking at the 15-minute, but the same thoughts apply, right? All of a sudden we find our way back down, right? And I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know what to say here, right? CGC, I would not touch CGC until it can get over 480. Get me over those three lines and I'll start to believe we can head on up to 560. Otherwise, for now, it looks like we're going to come to 375, and let's see if that important line can hold and bounce, all right? ACB, let's round it out with ACB. Oh my gosh, I can't stress how sad this one is to me. 423 is where it seems like it's going to go. Have we already gotten there? We're basically there right now. So you can see I'm clicking at roughly 50% of that big candle down here in July. It's also the top of this little guy right here, and it's definitely where we're at right now with a couple dojis, right? So there's a potential that that's a good enough line to maybe hold us. Look, you can even see there's a nice little horizontal happening right there as well, right? So maybe this 475 can hold, all right? If it can hold, we then would maybe have a shot at 530, okay? Otherwise, like I just said, I think this is going to come down to 430. It's really disappointing how good the last earnings was and how poor this price is. I think ACB is always struggled to get a little bit of love. I don't know why either. And then SNDL will be the one that we wrap it up. Look, I've called these two the bullish outliers. This thing would have ran if Florida said yes. This thing was prime. This thing was over all the moving averages on the daily. This thing was just ready to go to the 200 on the weekly. I can't believe Florida voted no. Look, this is a theory I heard. I don't really know it. Let me know if anyone's heard this or not. One thing I heard was True Leave really wanted a no vote in Florida because that means no new licenses are sent out. And in some ways, I don't know if that's also somewhat applicable for SNDL. Maybe it's actually good for SNDL that the vote was no. Obviously, I think sector-wide it would have been good and the reaction would have been there. But for all I know, long-term, SNDL might be happy that there's no recreational. Because again, if that was to happen, there's a whole new wave of licenses. There's a whole new wave of competition coming in. And hey, it might not be a bad thing that it's not, all right? Just a little bit of like longer term maybe, all right? At the minimum, let's just say this, the 200 moving average did the job, right? So where are you at? Yeah, I think this is our death line. I would be very worried if this loses 192. If we lose 192, I mean, you can see it. Green, that could be a real quick fall to 180, and if not 180, maybe even as low as 160. All right, that's a 20%. Yeah, it's a 20% drop from where we're at if we lose 40 cents, right? That's the 160 right there. Otherwise, the 200 could be strong enough to propel us over this 210. I would not touch this stock until we can get over here. Let's call it 213. I would raise it a couple cents up. That'll get me over all 5 moving averages. That'll get me back up into that positivity that I was hoping for. Maybe if it is actually good for SNDL to not recreationalize, I don't know if that's a real word or not, but you get what I'm trying to say. Maybe that could be a good thing and get us back over it. But yeah, I would love it over 213. I would be very scared under 190. Truth be told, I wouldn't touch it right now. There's just too many lines and we need to either break on up, confirm and run, or lose all 5 and die, right? That's basically what it's sitting at. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.